Leny Yoro is a young 18-year-old French centre-back currently attracting attention from some of the biggest clubs in the world, including Real Madrid and Manchester United. And that's high praise indeed. Being linked to those clubs suggests how good he is. But you guys probably want to know more than that. How good is he actually? What is he really good at? And should Manchester United in particular be targeting him? Let's have a look. Now for me, when I think of Yoro out of possession, I think of a player who has the potential to be the perfect modern day defender. Why do I say that? Well, I say that because a lot of teams these days want to play like this out of possession. You can see the team in red here, squeezing nice and high up the pitch, committing a lot of players to the high press. This is what all big modern teams seem to want to do. It's the current meta, if you like, squeezing high up the pitch. But of course, to do that, you need not just forwards that can press well, but also defenders that can engage in a high press and, importantly, can handle themselves in 1-versus-1 situations. For example, well, we are seeing teams going literally man-to-man like this on a press, and for that to work, you have to be able to win these individual battles, and this is where Yoro stands out the most amongst all young centre-backs in the world. He is an absolutely fantastic duel winner, one of the best in the world already, in my opinion, in his department, and he's only 18. But what I also love is the way that he uses it. He can be that defender which is aggressive and goes into these areas. So as the ball comes along the floor, perhaps from a centre-back, he is happy to engage, use his big frame, be strong in the tackle, and put the defender under pressure. And we've got a couple of examples of this. So this is Lille against Aston Villa in the European competition last season, and you can see Lille are engaging nice and high up the pitch. Eventually, the ball's going to go slightly more direct in towards the feet of the striker, and you can see Yoro here willing to leave his backline position. He's leaving his other centre-back behind him, knowing that he has the ability, the reading of the game, to go and nick the ball, and he does it brilliantly and puts the ball out for a throw, and it's a really good tackle, and it stops Villa from playing out from the back and hurting this defence. We've got another situation here from the same game about 7 minutes later, and again you can see Yoro is man-to-man with this particular defender. And as the ball is going to come into this area, into midfield, Yoro is once again willing to leave his defence. He's willing to be aggressive, get on the front foot, and go and win his tackles. And that is exactly what you need from the modern day defender. Someone who is able to defend on the front foot. But defending on the front foot isn't just about tackles and interceptions and ground duels. It's also about the ability to deal with aerial situations as well. Because what we are seeing more of again at the moment is teams that can't play through the press, can't go into the striker's feet or the feet of one of the midfielders, instead are now going long over the press, going long towards some big strikers. The big striker is coming back into fashion. Can Yoro deal with these situations? Again, yes, this is one of the best defenders I have seen in the air at such a young age. For an 18-year-old to be so strong aerially is absolutely phenomenal. Now, one of the reasons he is so good in these situations is again because of his reading of the game. He kind of reads the flight of the ball particularly well. But not only that, it's the fact that he uses his arms really well in the duel. And we can see that again. So let's move on to the next situation. This time Villa are going to resort to a long ball, a long hopeful ball forward. And Yoro here, you can see initially he's a couple of yards behind the striker. He's giving himself room for a run-up to then leap. And you can see as he leaps, he gets a lot of airtime over Ollie Watkins here, who is not a weak player by any means. But look how he is using his arms. His arms are all over Watkins. Now, I guess he's kind of treading along that fine line of is it a foul or not. It's not. He's just using his arms really well to keep the opposition player below him. This is what the top aerial defenders do. And again, Yoro has mastered this at a young age. And it is so handy in a high pressing system. Particularly when he is willing to go this far away from his defence to go and do it. Really engage nice and high up the pitch to again win the duel and get his team back on the front foot. This is the dream modern day defender in terms of a high press. He's absolutely brilliant at it. I just quickly want to interrupt the video there to talk about today's video sponsor, Surfshark VPN, something which you have to check out using the link in the description down below. Now you might be thinking, why do I need a VPN? Well, because it's going to protect you online. It's going to protect your data. We're talking about a great defender here in Leny Yoro. You need something similar, protecting your data online, protecting you from hackers and cyber attacks. You really do need this to protect your data. But it's not just about the practical side of it. It's also the enjoyment side of having a VPN as well. Because it gets you around geo-blocking. So annoying programs and shows that you can't watch on certain streaming services because you're in the wrong country are no longer a problem. With a click of a button, you can literally change your digital location to be anywhere on the planet, really opening up your world to far more content. And why would you not want that? Especially when you can get a brilliant offer right now using the code AJAnalysis at Surfshark VPN. Like I said, the link is in the description down below. Make sure to use it, you won't regret it. Now, the other important thing for a modern day defender playing in a high pressing system is the ability to go the other way as well, to turn around and retreat and recover back towards your own goal. It's all well and good being great at squeezing forward to win the ball high, but there are always inevitably going to be situations where the ball is in behind your defence. Can Yoro defend going this way? In my opinion, yes. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say he is absolutely rapid, because he's not, but his pace is pretty darn decent. He has a good stride length, he's able to eat up the ground pretty well, and his recovery pace is very, very good. Very, very good. Without being absolutely top, you know, he's not the fastest defender in the world, but he is still more than capable of playing in this high line and then sweeping up behind, particularly if his teammate has gone for an aerial ball or gone for a tackle and the second ball has come through and he needs to recover. He's really good in these positions. But what also makes him particularly good is not only does he have the pace to recover and the determination as well, I guess, but he also has brilliant tackling technique. He's got these fantastic long legs which allow him to hook the ball away from the opposition at the last second, when other centre-backs simply wouldn't be able to because they don't have the physical gifts. Think of someone like Aaron Wan-Bissaka, the amount of time he hooks the ball away with a last-ditch tackle. Yoro is absolutely fantastic at doing that. Now, of course, when a player kind of relies on going to ground to make a tackle, you could see it as a slight concern as well. But I wouldn't say Yoro does it unnecessarily. I think he does it when it is needed. He isn't someone who relies on the slide tackle. It's just a brilliant tool that he has. So again, can Yoro defend going this way? I think he absolutely can. Again, his reading of the game is good, but it's those long legs which really help. And these also help in the box as well. Having that big frame really equips him for defending in his box. Dealing with dribblers in the box. Again, he's so difficult to get past. He's like that typical five-a-side player who just seems to have legs everywhere and you kind of physically can't dribble past them. That is the vibe that Leny Yoro has in the box. He's absolutely brilliant in these positions, and particularly when he gets pulled wide. So let's say the ball is with this player here, with the winger. The fullback gets drawn out and the ball's going to go into this area. Yoro is really impressive defensively here. First of all, he's got that bit of recovery pace to get across. Then he's got the intelligence to delay whilst his teammate gets back into position. But then also he has the ability to match the stride length of the opposition. He normally adjusts his feet well, although he does have an error or two. But again, he's only 18. Normally adjusting his feet well, and then normally being really strong in these defensive positions. And that really sums up his box defence. He's a very good box defender. Brilliant at anticipating the play, kind of blocking shots, intercepting passes across his box. And again, aerially, we've seen it already. He's a very comfortable aerial defender. My only criticism over him in terms of the box defence would be concentration. And just little silly mistakes here and there. Just silly mistakes where perhaps he's dived in when he doesn't need to. But again, we've got to remember this is an 18-year-old centre-back. You can argue that a centre-back shouldn't be peaking for another 7 or 8 years. So to be this good already, 7 or 8 years away from his peak, at box defence is not a bad thing at all. He's a wonderful player in this area. I guess the question that kind of brings us to is, how about a weakness? I've spoke very positively about him so far. Where is Yoro weak? Where are my question marks in the defensive side of the game? It would be the 1v1 defense, and the channel defense and the wide defense. Now, that might sound a little bit odd to say, because what we've spoken about so far is Yoro actually having a lot of the traits what you need for this. You know, the physical strength, the long legs to make tackles, the recovery pace, but also the reading of the game. He has all those tools, but for some reason he doesn't seem to have kind of taken that to wide defending at this moment in time. Now, in terms of covering ground, I still don't have an issue. I think he's good enough here without being elite, but I think he's pretty solid covering the ground. However, when a dribbler gets him 1 versus 1 out wide, he can be beaten a little bit too easily at times. Sometimes he's not quite strong enough in the tackle in these wide positions. I don't know if he is kind of subconsciously worried about being beaten and being left on the floor, but he doesn't seem to go into the tackle quite as strong out wide as what he does in the middle, and that would be a concern. And in general, he can overcommit in these positions. But again, we have got to remember, he is just 18 years old. He has all the traits that suggest he could eventually really grow into this area. And I am of the belief that, like I've said at the start, he could become the perfect modern day defender the perfect modern day centre-back at the defensive side of the game, because he can go forward, he can be aggressive in his pressing, in his defending, he can read the play and intercept, he can deal with long balls up towards his back line, he can turn around and go the other way, he can defend his box pretty well, apart from the odd error. The only issue is this sort of wide defence at the moment. I'm not going to say it's a massive weakness, because it's not, but it's just something to keep an eye on. But to answer the question right from the start, how good is Yoro defensively? He is so good for an 18-year-old. He is so good. And it's obvious why Real Madrid and Manchester United want him. He's a wonderful player. Is he the complete package? No. Not by any means. He's not there yet. Again, he's 18, he's raw, he makes mistakes, he has lapses of concentration. But this is one heck of an opportunity in the market. It won't be cheap. You know, United supposedly bidding around £50 million and having that offer accepted. It won't be cheap, and it will be difficult to get him. I do think it will be, but it is a real opportunity. If he was to sign for the club, whether that be Manchester United or Real Madrid, I wouldn't expect him to come in and be a starter straight away, just because I don't think that's where he's at with his game at the moment. I still think he needs a little bit of development. But if you want him as a backup right centre-back, who's still going to get enough time to develop, then, like I said, it's such a good opportunity. He's a wonderful footballer. If Manchester United can make this move happen, they should. You can't pass up on this opportunity. Not a player this good. But the same for Real Madrid as well. They should do everything to try and get him into the club, because I think he's that good, and I think he can go on to be something really, really special. So yeah, is Leny Yoro really that good? How good is he really? He's very good. He's a quality young player, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he does next with his career. Will it be United? Will it be Madrid? Will he stay in France for one more season? Who knows? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. But apart from that, we are finished for today. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.